tell me what's going on. Everybody say, tell me. Say it loud, say, tell me what's going on. Tell me. Say what? Tell me what's going on. Tell me one more time. Tell me what's going on. Tell me one more time. Tell me what's going on. Tell me one more time. Tell me what's going on. Tell me. Tell me what's going on. Tell me. Oh, somebody tell me what's going on. Hit me right here on. One more time. One more time for Seattle. Come on. One more time for Seattle. One more big time for Seattle. One more time for everybody in the room. Let's go home. We so like to tell me. Come on and tell me. Somebody tell me. Oh my God. Somebody tell me. Oh my God. Somebody tell me. Oh my. Somebody tell me. Thank you.
Baby, come closer. There's no need to be. I got you, you got me. Let's just live and we'll see if this is really meant to be. Let's not wait any longer. And I promise tomorrow we'll have a love to be free. Rest of our lives maybe change for the best if we just get a little closer, 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 baby. So scared of the what ifs. And will this lead to tears? Oh, boy, I know you've been let down in the past, but let go, let me need. I want you, you want me, coming close and we'll see if this is really meant to be. Let's not wait any longer, and I promise tomorrow we'll allow our love to be free. And this could be something special, different from the rest of our lives maybe. Change for the best if we just get a little closer, 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 baby. Just get a little closer.
Hey, welcome back, Open Pagan Church. Good to see everybody. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. We've already got Discord in live with us. Good morning, Discord.
Good morning.
Looks like we're live on Twitch, and looks like we're live on YouTube. Looks like everything's going okay. Got a decent stream going, and we've got a good record going. So apparently I finally got the damn settings right. So All right, just so that everybody knows, if I have to exit stage left real quick, it'll be because I am mama sitting. So if I have to say I'll be right back, then I got to go take care of the mama. So, yeah. Are pagans guilty of extremism? Can't hardly hear you, Cindy. That's a little better. Huh?
I said I would say some are.
Yeah.
It's just like Christianity. There, you've got your fanatics and everything.
Yep. The whole point to the whole thing is extremism has nothing to do with religion. Extremism is a human thing. So, have we noticed that extremists are becoming more and more? Or is it just the growing population is showing the extremist per capita?
Per capita.
See, that's kind of what I'm thinking, because if you think about all forms of society, extremists, murderers, rapists, robbers, people that don't care about anybody else except for their own wants and needs. If you have an average of, let's say, 2 out of 10 people that are of one of these types of persuasions, right? Everything from extremist all the way up to a murderer. If you have 2 out of 10 people that are going to do this anyway, and the population explodes and you end up with 1 million people within, what, 1,000 square miles? What is that?
What?
Quit moving your mic around.
Sorry. Okay, how's that?
That's better. It doesn't take a whole lot to do the math if you use a very simple number like 2 out of 10 and you've got 1 million people, you're going to have a shitload of people that are extremists, murderers, rapists, abusers, what have you. But if we take a look at the compensity, the ability of people to become extremist, what are y'all's opinions on that?
What do you mean, how to become one?
No.
How likely is it to get one?
Yeah, how likely is it for human beings to become extremist? What causes extremism?
Parents.
It's a fervor for a belief.
Parents.
Well, you're both right. The environment in which we're raised, and the sociological religious hypocrisy that you're involved in. So if your particular religious hypocrisy, if you will, is of an extremist nature, then most people are sheeple anyway. They follow the cattle mentality, right? They stampede when they're told to. They do what they're told to, because after all, if the religious leader, and I'm using that as a universal term, if the religious leader says it's so, then by God, I guess it's so, right? I mean, what? Come on, I'm trying to spark you guys and wake you up here. What, I mean, seriously, we all sit at home, we all watch TV, we all read the internet, and we're all on social networks.
Yeah, but extremists will isolate themselves from family and friends. If they get so bad, I mean, they go into the rabbit hole and then come up.
Some do.
So,
But what about those who live in extremist families?
Right. I mean, you stop and you consider the white mentality as a form of extremism. Children that are born into the clan are taught from early age that this is the way things go. It's the same way in Islam. Children are taught that the extremist view is the way to go.
Right.
It's how you bring the children up in that society.
Oh,
It's a extremism is it's a fervor for a belief.
yeah.
So
Well,
if you believe in something so much that everyone else's beliefs are wrong, then you will become an extremist.
right. Hitler, Mussolini, Saddam Hussein. I mean, hell, we can go on and on and on, and I can absolutely name American leaders that were and are extremist.
I could name some Catholic popes that are extremists.
Oh boy.
oh boy.
Oh boy. And I could also name some pagan leaders that were and are extremist. And they're
LeVay and
they're not hard to find.
no, they're not.
I mean, all you gotta do is poke around on Facebook, or Twitter, or I mean, when I created the Open Pagan Church Twitter account and started poking around on pagan sites for Twitter, I was absolutely flabbergasted at the amount of rhetoric that I found on Twitter, and the same thing on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Oh my God, TikTok's loaded with rhetoric. But you know, you can't. And see, here's the thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not defending any one particular specific owner of any specific social network. And I totally agree that there should be algorithms out there to assist with cyberbullying, cyber extremism, and what have you. But there are so many people that are blaming the owners of these social networks for the actions of the people on the social network.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Thank you, Cindy. Cindy just posted a invite to the Discord.
Sorry, I'm behind.
No, you're fine. You're doing great. Um, when you and I just freaking lost track of what I was saying. When you're trying to run a group, right? And that's what social networking is. It's a group. I know when we had the group down south in Liberty, at one point we had over 2,000 so-called members worldwide. I know Lester would remember that. That was before Cindy's time.
Yeah.
But everybody kept coming to me going, you need to get your people under control. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here. I cannot control what Joe Blow says over in where the hell ever. Yes, I can delete them. I can remove them from the group. And I can ban them from anything to do with the HOP. But how the hell do you expect me to control my people? I mean, when you consider, and we saw the extremist pagan community between 03 and 05, 04 and 05, excuse me, down south.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And, sorry, I just hit the mic. That was absolutely extremist mob mentality. But we see it today on a daily basis. Take a look at the insurrection of the American Capitol. I mean, it still befuddles the hell out of me why someone was allowed to attack the American Capitol. And I mean, to keep from going down that rabbit hole, if it was any other country or any other color other than white Anglo-Saxon American rhetoric extremist, they'd have been shot on the steps of the Capitol.
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. They'd have never made it to the front door.
They wouldn't have made it through the fence.
No, right. But we also take a look at how quick and simple it is to light a match and turn everyday people, everyday hardworking people of all races, religions, of all lifestyles or what have you, just people. How easy it is and how quick it is to turn someone into an extremist. So the rhetorical question is, and if somebody has an answer, shit, by all means. why is it so easy, and I already know the psychological reason behind it, why is it so easy to turn normal, everyday, hardworking people into mob mentality? What the hell?
Yeah.
I don't know. Where'd that come from?
Cindy, your mic is on activation.
I think Cindy's house just went bananas. What the hell was
Yeah,
that?
I don't know. Something popped up. I think I got a virus on the computer, but I'm sorry.
Like, what the hell was that?
I
Sound like a
was like,
mob.
wow. We were just sitting here talking about mob mentality and you
That's
know.
for next week, something like that.
Oh no, we've already done mob mentality more than once on this channel.
No, I'm talking about the exorcism. That's what it sounded like.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah, exorcism is next week's topic.
Everybody is guilty of extremism in some form or fashion, no matter what you do or what you try not to do.
But why?
Because you have a fervent belief in something and you want to pass it off on someone else. That's what extremism is.
But why?
Like me with work. I like to have everything perfect as much as I can get, and that's a form of extremism.
Well, that's a form of professionalism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can carry perfectionism to an extreme.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm still waiting on someone to tell me what it is I want to hear of why good people are so easily persuaded to become a part of extremism. If we think about hate crimes, the insurrection on the Capitol, um, the witch trials of the 1800s, or they were the 1700s. Anyway, if we think about all of the extremist attacks of society over the last couple of thousand years, what is the cause? It's a real simple answer, but what is the cause? What's the root?
Everybody
Human
wants
nature.
to fit in.
Well, both of you said it, just said it in different ways. Lester said human nature, and Clint said people want to fit in. People want to belong. Human nature is to follow the strongest of the leaders, right or wrong, good or bad, extremist or calm. Human nature is to follow the strongest personality. Anybody disagree?
Nope. People are sheep.
Right, right. Hence the term sheeple. But what about if more people would question extremism, would society as a whole implode?
Yeah. I mean, you look back at history, when Christianity first came to the Isles and the pagan societies, the Christians were considered extremists. pagans looked at them like sheep. And what happened was that eventually the Christians became so strong that they overpowered the pagan societies.
Right.
And by doing that, it usually meant war.
But
So, in fact, when extremism gets to such a fervor that one group defies another, it always turns to war. Look at what's happening in with the Islamic extremism compared to the rest of the world.
right,
Not just the Christians against everybody else.
right. Well, it, like you say, I mean, it's always happened.
It's been for
I mean,
since the beginning of time, I'm sure.
anytime you have a society, whether it be called a tribe, or it be called a city-state, or it be called whatever the hell you want to call it, it's still a societal group of people. There is going to be some form of leadership. But here's a question. Humans, well, you might could call it a statement, you might call it a question. Humans are not the only creature on the planet that does that.
Nope. Look at ants.
Yep. Ants, monkeys, apes, gorillas. I mean, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. I mean, it doesn't make any difference what species you are. The strongest personality of a particular species in a particular society, there is a set of leaders. Human beings happen to be the easiest animal to manipulate. I mean,
because we have, well, I want to say it, and I'm probably going to regret this. We have a far more advanced brain, and we have, I'm not quite sure how to put it. We have the ability to reason, whereas in the animal kingdom, it's an ability of survival.
Instinct over reason.
Right.
So anytime you get instinct over reason, then you're just, like you said, you're simply going to react to the actions of the environment around you. So it comes down back to, and I know people get tired of hearing me compare humans to cattle and humans to sheep. Okay, well, let's go a different route. Go into a society of chimpanzees, okay? People say chimpanzees are the calmest of the ape societies.
Oh, that's a load of crap.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Chimpanzees would jack you up in a heartbeat.
They're more territorial than most humans.
Right, but send something or someone into a society of chimpanzees. One chimpanzee is going to scream and take off. What are the rest of them going to do?
Attack.
They're not, no, they're going to run with them. They're not going to question. They're going to follow the strongest personality of the individual around. Now, if one or two attack, then you have the entire damn population attacking.
Yep.
So we see humans do it on a daily basis, and people blame the internet, but it's not the internet's fault. The internet just shows the fact of human nature, because, I mean, come on, let's think about the hate crimes that are happening on a daily basis, that are being videoed live, that are being captured on people's mobile devices, events of the world that are being captured on mobile devices and distributed live around the world. People are blaming it on social networking, and it's not. It's been happening since the beginning of time. It's just, go ahead.
It was never broadcast like it is now.
Right, you had to wait for it. You know, you had to wait for the reports first off to make it across the boat. Well, of course, by the time it may have been written down overseas and come across the boat and then distributed to the newspapers, well, of course, by the time the reporter got a hold of it and sensationalized it, who the hell knows what really actually happened?
Thank God for the AP.
Right. So pagans are just as guilty of extreme, Google, I wasn't talking to you. Pagans are just as guilty of extremist behavior as any other religion on the planet. It's a human thing. What we have to do as human beings is change the way we react to other people's actions, don't we? I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube, a lot of history, documentaries. Hell, the only thing I use the local television channels for is news and weather. Anything else I watch, I either watch it on YouTube or I download it. That's the reason I've got a server full of movies and videos and television shows. But if I forwarded without thinking, if I forwarded every piece of rhetoric that hit my Facebook, I would have 75 to 100 posts a day of nothing but bullshit rhetoric of things that I didn't look at and go, wait a minute. Okay, the header may say blah, blah, blah. The header strikes me as wrong. It's called clickbait. And I hope everyone understands the term clickbait.
Oh, yeah. You watch YouTube.
Yep.
You get caught up in that quite often.
Yep. And I have unfollowed, blocked, and reported a lot of clickbait rhetoric on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and a lot of other social networks. I've gotten to where I report the shit. I know I'm not the only one doing it, but I figure if I help take out the trash, maybe eventually so will other people. Now, I'm not saying report something that you disagree with. There's a difference between disagreeing with something or someone and being able to realize that something or someone that is being posted is nothing else other than extremist bullshit.
It used to be called false advertisement.
Yes. Well, I don't think anybody doesn't false advertise today, to be honest.
Well, no, it really doesn't. Every commercial you see on TV is bullshit.
Right. Right.
Products don't do what they say they do. But we live in a consumer society, so they gotta hype shit up to make it sell.
Clickbait, brother. Clickbait.
Yep.
So
The internet has become a place of clickbait, false advertisement. You know,
But-
you see this article of a certain historical thing has been found, and you click on it because it sounds like it would be an interesting read, and it ends up being an advertisement for condoms or something like that.
right. Right. I mean, it's a clicker beware society nowadays. If we consider the realistic ideology of extremist behavior. I mean, anybody that was around the House of Pagans in 99 and 2000 could attest to the fact that we could have very easily turned this group into an extremist occult.
Oh yeah, I used to warn you about that quite often. Remember?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when we started this thing, Lester was right by my side from the beginning, and I told Lester, I said, if it ever gets to something that I'm not seeing, I've got to depend on you to tell me because I know you will.
I was never shy about that.
Right. But, I mean, what is the number one thing I always told people? Don't ever put me on a pedestal.
Right.
I'm a human being just like you are. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to misperceive things. I'm going to misunderstand what people say. So the problem that we've run into is there's not enough form, I think, now this is my own personal opinion, there's not enough form of checks and balances when it comes to extremism. Example, internet bullying, just like school bullying, internet bullying has always been and it will always be. And just like school bullying, neighborhood bullying, and any other kind of bullying that goes on has always been and will always be.
Yeah, it's a childish mentality. Some people never lose.
Right. But it is becoming less and less and less acceptable by more and more and more people. I mean, I am on probably every anti-bullying group I can find. I was bullied as a kid. I was bullied up until I was 14, 16 years old and decided to stand up for myself and started fighting back. Well, in reality, this isn't the 60s and 70s anymore. This isn't the 80s and 90s anymore. In 2021, kids are not allowed to defend themselves in American schools. Or in Texas schools, I know that for a fact. So by removing people's ability to defend and take care of themselves in any environment, school, church, a grocery store, you remove people's ability to feel like they can defend themselves against society. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. You leave it to the law. The law has made us all sheep.
And at the same time, having been in certain aspects of law enforcement when I was younger and stupider, I understand the mentality of the legal system. I'm not saying I agree with it, I'm saying I understand it.
Well, you know, the legal system is a human system. It was
Right.
created by humans to benefit certain humans, not all humans.
Right. Well,
But it was meant to protect
right.
humans.
Well,
But to protect humans, you have to trod on certain humans' rights.
and that's the nature of the beast. But
You know,
go ahead. Do what, Lester?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, if you anytime you put human beings on a pedestal, whether it's a religious leader, a political leader, anytime you put a human being on a pedestal, there is a very, very high possibility of the God mentality kicking in.
Yep.
I mean, ultimate control ultimately breeds corruption. Someone that lives in a system where there's no checks and balances, it will ultimately lead to extremism and corruption. What the problem is today, the big problem today is we have way too many people that are not reading what they share. They're not researching what they're talking about. And they're assuming, and if you don't know what assume means, Google it. People are assuming that what they're seeing on social network, supposedly from reputable news sources, but if you look at the hyperlink where the picture or the caption came from, you can tell it did not come from a reputable news source. But there's more people that don't know how to hover over a link and see where it's from, and they don't care to know because they don't want to know because they're too busy following the masses. I mean, all you got to do is figure out what the population thinks they want and start saying what you think the population wants you to say, and before you know it, you've got extremist behavior everywhere. I mean, I know at damn near 60 years old, I've seen it happen more than once. Almost every year, as far back as I can remember, at least once a year, some extremist group breaks out into something somewhere. Simplistically, yes, pagans are guilty of extremism. I wasn't talking to you, Google. Pagans are just as guilty of extremism. Really?
Opening YouTube.
Why are you? Well, every time I say the word pagan, Google thinks it wants to come up and do something.
My phone's been doing that here lately too.
I mean, I know there was just an update that went out that has absolutely jacked up a couple of things. I'm hoping they fix it pretty damn quick. But it doesn't matter what religion you follow. It doesn't matter what society you're a part of. It doesn't matter where you live, what lifestyle you're in. Odds are you will experience extremism more than once in your lifetime.
Then lost track of how many times we've experienced it.
Oh my God. I mean, what if anybody is actually comfortable sharing, what are some of the extremist events that have affected you personally?
I mean, you stop and consider even at my age, the first actual extremist movement that I felt, I might have not understood what was going on, but I felt was the hippie movement. That was an extremist view.
Yeah, yeah.
It went against the main societal view of what life was to be like.
Right.
Well, yeah, the extremist move for me right now is even going to the store. These people are so, with the pandemic going on, it can incite all kinds of crazy things for people, and you're wary about going out.
Yeah, actually, somebody told me yesterday, "Oh, the pandemic's over with." I'm like, "No, it ain't."
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It's far from over with. That's like saying the flu is over with.
Right? That something's gonna keep coming back.
You know.
Yeah, nobody ever notices the pandemic with the hospital visits and stuff. They're going back up.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
I see more and more people going to the store without masks and
Yeah.
taking no precautions whatsoever. They're grouping together, and it's like, you know what? It's the height of summer, and if anything we should have learned from last year was that when summertime comes around, people are going to gather, and then when about 6 to 8 weeks later, you've got another pandemic on your hands.
Well, it goes right back to the point of government, and I don't want anybody to think I'm anti-government or anti-establishment. Okay, well, depending on the establishment, I am anti-establishment. But I'm definitely not anti-government. Now, I'm anti-dumbass. Well, it just so happens.
Perfect.
You know, I'm anti-dumbass, and it just so happens we have a bunch of them running our local city, county, state, federal. But anyway, when the government sits there and tells you, we're removing the mask mandate, you're an adult, you know how to take care of yourself, then the extremists come up. I don't want to even get in the conversation of mask or no mask.
Yeah, the funny one that I seen was at the local Walmart. There's a sign on it that says that if you've been vaccinated, you've had both your vaccinations, you don't need to wear a mask. Okay, you're gonna check everybody walking in the door without a mask to see if they got their vaccination cards with them.
Right.
It's stupid.
I mean, there's no account for stupidity, Lester. You and I both know that. But let's think about a piece of reality. And this goes back to a part of the extremist, okay? My daughter, now 15, almost 16, if you guys can believe that shit.
Yeah, we're getting old.
No, we are old.
Right. But my daughter at 15 ended up having to go to summer school, of course, because of the lack of education that she received remotely, and I blame that on the school. But anyway, that's a topic for a totally different discussion. The first week she went back to school, supposedly wearing her mask. The first week she went back to school, she brought a cold home. The first week that she went to school, 7 days after her first week, the entire household was down with a cold. Hell, I missed a couple of churches because of it. So you can't tell me that people in all of their extremist behaviors the extremists that are ridiculing people because they wear a mask, the extremists that ridicule people because they don't wear a mask, the extremists that ridicule people because they're transsexual. It doesn't make a damn what I do as a human being. There is an extremist group somewhere that is going to want to kill me because of it. Thoughts? I mean, I could tell a shitload of stories where I've had to deal with extremism in the county that I used to live in prior to us coming up here because of the small-minded, hillbilly, backwater, river bottom mentality. And when you have a leadership, I don't care what kind of leadership, when you have a leadership that refuses to educate themselves on what is going on in society, then you have an absolute open door for extremist behavior. What do you think?
Being a witness to that, I agree 100%.
But those people, huh?
I lived in the same county.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, you saw some of the shit that happened.
Yep.
I spent more than one night in jail because of someone's assumption and undue process above the law. So, you know, the only way it's going to change is when people like me and like you watching this video, when people like us start changing our reactions to other people's actions. If you read something on the internet and you're only reading the header and you forward just the header, you're showing your ignorance. If you're forwarding something on the internet without any knowledge of where it come from or whether or not it's real, you're showing your ignorance. And if you get pissed off at me, I don't care. Because I'm sorry, if the shoe fits, wear it. It is what it is. If you're a part of the extremist movement, maybe you need to check your own intelligence. I'm just saying. I've had death threats before. I give two shits. Come knock on my door. Let's talk about it.
Bring it on, buddy. Bring it on.
And if you're that goddamn stupid, I got some riverfront property in Arizona for you.
Hell, I got plenty swamp down here.
Yeah, but see, the point is, you do. Gator bait.
I take them gator fishing.
There you go. Well, I mean, I can take them snipe hunting.
Yeah. Same difference.
But I mean, the whole point is, and I'm going to draw to a close here. You guys that are watching the pre-recorded broadcast, if you want to share your story where you've had to deal with extremism in the past and what the outcome was, you will help someone else, truly. If you have an opinion, like or dislike, and subscribe. Let your voice be heard. Now, if you call me a dumbass or an idiot or whatever, I'm simply going to delete your post because I'm not going to waste the space of someone who may actually have something intelligent to say. I don't care if you agree with me or not, but if you're going to disagree, be smart enough to tell me why. And I've had people say, just because you're a dumbass. Well, I'm not the one that's posting my lack of intelligence, am I? You know? Let's step out of the extremist mentality and let's step more into the mentality of research, understanding, listening. Talk less, listen more. Take care of yourself. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Open Pagan Church.